Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Tuesday, the 16th of May. Good to have you aboard. We are a Blue Wire podcast, presented as always by our title sponsor, Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys. 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. If you've been involved in any kind of an accident, you know I send you to one of our very first sponsor. None of this would have been possible without their support. So not only do they help the show, not only is the show not possible without Anidjar and Levine accident attorneys, but I make sure that if you have a situation, if you've been involved in an accident, I love you guys for being my listeners, and I got to make sure you're taken care of. And that's why I send you to Anidjar and Levine accident attorneys, because you got to focus on your health, and they will take that family-first approach that all of us need in that kind of difficult situation when you've been in an accident, when you're dealing with an injury, and they're going to get you the money you deserve. No one does it better. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. And, I mean, how else are we going to start the show today than just to state the obvious? Beginning tomorrow, we have what is potentially the wildest 2 weeks in the history of South Florida sports. That's right. As we did the show yesterday, we weren't sure yet of the schedule. We didn't know what it was going to look like. We knew that Wednesday night, we were starting with Game 1, Heat at Celtics. We knew that Monday night, last night, after the Western Conference Finals are set, that's when they'll announce the series on both sides. They don't do it before. So, as it turns out, the West ends last night, but we found out even a little bit before the Western Conference got going. What did we find out? Well, we found out the way that it works. ESPN and TNT, those are the two partners for the NHL. Well, ESPN has first dibs on what series they want. And as we learned before the game even got going last night, ESPN has chosen they want the Western Conference. So they're going to get the winner of last night's Dallas and Seattle. It was Dallas against Vegas. TNT is taking the East, Panthers and Hurricanes. So what does that mean? Well, it means that TNT, they can't broadcast the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs at the same time as the NBA playoffs. TNT has the NBA's Eastern Conference playoffs. Well, they also have the NHL's Eastern Conference playoffs. So they're going to be different nights. You can't do it the same night. So Wednesday night, every other day, Game 1, Heat at Celtics, and Thursday night, every other day, Panthers, Hurricanes. This is potentially the greatest 2 weeks in the history of South Florida sports. We have never had a 2 weeks like this. Starting on Wednesday, Heat. Thursday, Panthers. Friday, Heat. Saturday, Panthers. So think about how it's going to be every day you got Heat or Panthers in the conference finals. And so how about this? So Wednesday and Friday, you got games 1 and 2, Heat Celtics. Thursday, Saturday, games 1 and 2, Panthers Hurricanes. So Sunday, Heat at home, Eastern Conference Finals. Monday, Panthers at home. Tuesday, Heat at home. Wednesday, Panthers at home. Sunday to Wednesday, 4 straight days, our teams hosting Eastern Conference Championship games. It's never happened before. There's got to be someone who's got season tickets for both, right? And you're going 4 straight days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Heat home game, Panther home game, Heat home game, Panther home game. Somebody's got to be doing that, right? Oh my God. We've never experienced it before in the history of our sports teams. Look, you know I've been making a point of this, all right? This is only the second time ever that we've had both of these teams, even in the only second time ever both these teams have won a playoff series the same year. The first time ever was last year. And this is the first time ever that they both even advanced past the second round. So this is all firsts for us. But how lucky, after all the complaining, every year, all throughout the year, how the Heat and Panthers are always playing at the same time. How lucky did we finally get that we're getting it every single day for the next 2 weeks with no conflicts? And thank God that they're not the same days, because we experienced that this past Friday. And I told you, I mean, it was too much. Like, it was fun, but also on the verge of a heart attack. Is not like the most fun, but it was fun. It was too much. I told you there was one point where a minute left in the Heat game, the Heat are up by 2, and you got a scrum in front of Bobrovsky in sudden death overtime, and they're both happening at the same time. It was too much. And now the stakes are even higher, and it's every day. It's never the same day, it's every day. We got so lucky. Starting tomorrow, the best 2 weeks potentially we've ever had in South Florida sports. I'm so excited. You should be so excited too. I mean, what a time to be alive. So that's what gets going tomorrow night. Hey, make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that good stuff. I appreciate you however you're listening. So last night, because we've never had this, because we're the center of the sports universe, best sports town, Miami, South Florida. I was on with my guys Tim Murray and Sean King on VSiN last night again. And I tweet out the link. I don't know if they do replays or whatever. You go check that out. But I was on with those guys again. I like going on their show. And we talk mostly Heat, very little Panthers. Usually do a little bit of both. But we talk mostly Heat. And I need to caution the Heat fans. And I brought this up a little bit yesterday. Like, I especially brought it up when that stat came out that everyone's throwing out now, right? Everyone's throwing around how, oh, ESPN gives the Heat a 3% chance of winning. That's not true. Based on ESPN's analytics, the Heat have a 3% chance of winning the series, all right? That doesn't mean they're giving them a 3% chance of the series. Just looking at the numbers, they have a 3% chance to win the series. Now, what I do believe is those numbers are very likely based on the whole year, based on the regular season. And when you base it on the regular season, yeah, the Heat were a bad regular season team. And the Celtics were a great regular season team. Of course the Heat's chances are going to be low when you look at it in a vacuum like that. That's all. So this isn't something, and the Heat fan is throwing that around like all the disrespect. This isn't something to get riled up about. Like, I told you this yesterday. Who cares? Who cares? It's completely meaningless. And I'm sure those numbers were the same in round 1 against Milwaukee. And we all know right now, this is not the same Heat team from the regular season. So stop getting all riled up about these predictions and whatnot. Let everybody predict against the Heat. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, we all know going into this series, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a dogfight every single game. Here's the thing. So going into the Knicks series, and I told you this before every game, going into the Knicks series, and you know I love when the Heat start out on the road. Now, home court advantage, I wish I had Game 7 at home. Yes. But otherwise, I love starting the series on the road. I love starting this series on the road. I feel like the Heat have a great chance of getting one of the first 2 games. Home, road, the Heat don't care. I feel like they have a great chance of getting one of the first 2 games. And if that's the case, you steal the momentum, you steal the home court right off the bat. I always love the Heat's chances of getting one of the first 2 on the road. So I don't care about that. And then you look at last series. Told you before the series started. The Heat are going to get one of those first 2 games on the road. They're going to get one of those first 2 games in New York. And they did. And then before Game 3, I told you, they're definitely winning Games 3 and 4 at home. And they did. And then, after they lost Game 5, they're definitely winning they're not losing any home games to the Knicks. They're going to win the series in 6. This series, can't do that at all. There's not going to be a single... Now, you go into it, you can say, hey, I'm really confident the Heat are going to win tomorrow night. I'm confident the Heat are going to get one of these first 2 games. But there's no scenario where you're going to be able to go into the game and say, Heat are definitely winning tonight. Which is what we did against New York. Like the Heat, let's say he come back 1-1 against Boston. I'm not going to sit here and say, Heat are definitely taking games 3 and 4 at home. Definitely not losing home to the Celtics. I'm not going to be able to say that. Like, we're not going to be able to say any of that anymore. That's a major difference from last series to this series. You were able to map out what was going to happen. The Knicks were never on our level, and you knew it from the get-go. This series, as we saw last year, I mean, hell, the Heat won, what was it, Game 4 we won in Boston when Jimmy Butler couldn't play the second half. And then the Heat are on the brink of elimination. They won Game 6 in Boston. And then they lost Game 7 at home. That's what this series is going to be like. Home, road, these two teams, it doesn't matter. I think it matters a little bit, but we're not going to be able to look at any of these games. Oh, the Heat are definitely protecting home court. They're definitely winning these games. We were able to do that last series. We're not going to be able to do that at all this series. At all. What I can tell you, I want to tell you about Brunt Insurance first, okay, before we continue on. You know, I see all these homes out there. You're getting work on your home. I don't know who's paying for all that. I hope you got good insurance, because otherwise, you're going to be spending all your money out of pocket, and you're going to be really concerned about what's next. And the way around that is, you got to make sure your home is covered. You got to make sure you have the right insurance. You got to make sure you have the most affordable insurance. And that's why I send you to my man, Greg Brunt at Brunt Insurance. BruntInsurance.com. They're going to make sure you get the affordable care, and they offer the best coverage, not just for your home, your automobile, your boat, your motorcycle. Hey, if you rent or if you have a condo, same thing. The market's really confusing out there. You got to make sure that you have all the coverages you need. You and I, we can't just go out there on Google and figure out what coverages we need. No, you need to talk to Greg Brunt at Brunt Insurance and his fully licensed staff who absolutely know the area you're calling from, because from Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, wherever you're calling from, they know the area. 954-589-2204. I would not send you to use someone that I don't use myself. I've been getting my insurance through Brunt Insurance for almost 10 years now. BruntInsurance.com, 954-589-2204. So we're going to talk to SiriusXM NBA radio host Brian Geltzeiler. He's our pal. He's going to join us on the show today. We're going to talk NBA playoffs with him. We'll talk about the Ja Morant situation with him. We'll talk about the NBA draft lottery, which is tonight. Don't forget about that. That's right. So here's what we got. That kind of snuck up on us, right? So tonight, we find out who's getting Victor Wembanyama. That's what tonight's about. He is the, without question, number 1 pick. He is projected to be a franchise-altering player along the likes of LeBron James. We've never seen, based on his stature, we've probably never seen a player like this. Victor Wembanyama, we will learn his fate tonight as the NBA draft takes place right ahead of Game 1 Western Conference Finals, Lakers and Nuggets. So this will be at 8 p.m. The game's at 8:30. This is a very, if this was a big deal or not a big deal, this is a big deal. So here's what we're looking at. First, you know what I want to do first? I like seeing who the teams, okay, it's, what are we talking, 14 teams, right? I like seeing who the teams send as their representative. You know, they're sitting up there, it's, oh my God, I hope we win. I like seeing the good luck charms that the teams send to sit up on that, podium and be the representative. So here's what we got in alphabetical order. The Charlotte Hornets, they're sending Buzz Peterson. He's the senior vice president of basketball ops, and he's their general manager. Okay. The Bulls are sending Pat Connolly, assistant general manager. That's weak. Like, you're sending your assistant GM? Who cares? Send someone cooler. Dallas Mavericks, Michael Finley. See, I like that Michael Finley goes. He's the assistant GM. I understand he's also assistant GM, but he's Michael Finley. That's cool. All right. Detroit Pistons are sending John Phelps, senior director of basketball strategy. Lame. Like, if you're the Pistons, send Rick Mahorn. That's cool. All right. Excuse me. Houston Rockets are sending Clay Allen, their general counsel. No, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm reading this wrong. these are the team's representatives. No, is it on stage? Yeah, it is on stage. I was going to say, are these the representatives who are going to be on the podium, or are these the representatives who are going to be in the room? Because it says here, team drawing room representatives, and then it says on stage representatives. So those are two different things. What does that mean then? Okay. All right, here we go. Hold on. I'm correcting myself here. All right, it's really weird the way that they worded that. What I'm telling you right there, some of those lame names, those are the drawing room representatives. Who cares about that? Those are the guys we're not going to see. Those are the guys who are locked in the room. They witnessed the whole process, and they can't leave the room until the whole thing's been aired so nobody knows. See, it says team drawing room representatives, but then under it said on-stage representative. Those are two completely different things. No, I want the on-stage representative. Here's the on-stage representatives. Let me go again. I'm sorry. I screwed that up, all right? Here we go. Excuse me. On-stage representatives, Charlotte Hornets. They're sending Mark Williams. He's one of their players. I have no idea who that is. Chicago Bulls are sending Dalen Terry. He's also a player. I don't know who that is. All right. The Mavericks are sending Nico Harrison. He's their GM. All right. The Pistons. See, this is cool. The Pistons are sending Ben Wallace. He's their basketball ops and team engagement advisor. See, that's a cool person to send to sit up there and be your good luck charm. The Houston Rockets. Ime Udoka. Whoa. He's like coming out of hiding. We haven't seen him since the scandal. He's the new head coach. I don't know if Ime Udoka's good luck. It seems like there's some bad karma that may be following around Ime Udoka for what he did to Nia Long, all right? And not only what he did to Nia Long, but what he potentially, what he was accused of with the Boston Celtics staffer. That's a lot more important and serious. All right. So for the Houston Rockets, Ime Udoka. The Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. I like that. That's a fun guy to send. New Orleans Pelicans, David Griffin. He's the EVP, basketball operations. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Nick Collison. He's their Udonis Haslem. He is. Now, he hasn't played anymore. He's their amateur evaluation scout. His number's retired there. Orlando Magic, head coach Jamal Mosley. Okay. Portland Trailblazers. Now this is a good guy to send. See, I think this is smart. How about this? Brandon Roy. He doesn't even work for the team. He's just a Blazers legend. That's a great guy to send. I feel like he had a ton of bad luck, and I think maybe him being there can bring you good luck. I like that the Blazers are sending Brandon Roy. The Spurs, Peter J. Holt, he's one of their owners. Toronto Raptors, Bobby Webster, he's the GM. Utah Jazz, Colin Sexton. Okay, that's cool. I like that. And the Washington Wizards, they're sending Wes Unseld Jr. He, of course, is their head coach. So those are the representatives. I like the Blazers sending Brandon Roy. That's good. I like that. Now, as far as the odds go, this is important. 3 teams are at the top with the same odds, 14%. Detroit Pistons have a 14% chance. Houston Rockets have a 14% chance. San Antonio Spurs have a 14% chance. Can you imagine Ime Udoka and the Houston Rockets? Ime Udoka gets fired from the Celtics for a sexual scandal, and then his next job is the Rockets, and he's standing up there having won the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. I don't know. That doesn't feel right. I don't see it happening. The Spurs, I feel like it's such a lame landing spot for Wembanyama to go to the Spurs. The Pistons, I don't love that. It doesn't feel right to me. So, can it be a team that, I think I'm hoping the Blazers. Everyone likes Damian Lillard. Does that keep Damian Lillard in Portland if it means, hey, look at this now. You just became super high profile. This guy could change the franchise forever. Do you want to stay and be a part of this rebuild, Damian Lillard? I think I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Portland. I think the Hornets could be fun. LaMelo Ball playing with Wembanyama, I think that could be fun. I'll tell you what else, and with a 9% chance, the Orlando Magic. I know I'm supposed to hate the Orlando Magic, but I don't because they're irrelevant. But the Magic already have something nice that they're building there. Banchero's really good. the Wagner brothers, Cole Anthony. This is a nice little team. If they now add Victor Wembanyama, they probably become a playoff team next year. So I think the three teams at the top, Detroit, Houston, San Antonio, I don't think I want to see any of those three land Wembanyama. And by the way, the number 2 pick is going to be Scoot Henderson. Great consolation prize. But I think the three teams that I'm hoping for are Charlotte, Portland, Orlando. 4, 5, and 6. I think Charlotte, Portland, Orlando are fun spots for Wembanyama to land. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm into that. Now, teams that you definitely don't want to see jump up. You know, you look at the teams with the really low odds. Let's see. I mean, can you imagine if Oklahoma City, with a 1.7% chance, if Oklahoma City were to jump up and get Wembanyama? They're already adding Chet Holmgren next year. Be like 2 number 1. I mean, Holmgren wasn't number 1 overall. Was he number 3? But can you imagine just adding Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama? That'd be pretty... You know what? I would be okay with that. That'd be wild, right? I'd be okay with that. Don't want Toronto to get him. Don't want Utah because F Danny Ainge. Yeah. And don't want Indiana because the Pacers. Screw the Pacers. So, there you go. That's tonight. There's going to be a big drama tonight as far as that goes. One of those teams is going to feel like they're NBA championship bound. Not right now, but in several years. They're going to feel like they found the guy that's going to lead them to championship contention. Hey, we're going to get to, like I said, we're going to get to Brian Geltzeiler in a moment here. First, though, I want to let you guys know, I already told you about how you're going to get your insurance. You're going to get your home covered from Brunt Insurance. Now, if you got a leak, you got damage in your home, who are you going to call to take care of that for you? Water Cleanup of Florida. I've already had listeners reach out to me, said, Zaslow, I heard you talking about the Greensteins and Water Cleanup of Florida and how if there's any kind of leak in your home, fire, mold damage, that's who I need to call. I called them and they're on it. The process has been so easy so far. I was so glad to hear that. Water Cleanup of Florida, call or text anytime. 954-900-8635. My friends, the Greensteins, they have over 60 years of combined experience. They're going to handle any type of leak detection issue. And this is my favorite part. After the leak has been located and repaired, Water Cleanup of Florida is not done. Then they're going to clean, dry, and fully restore the damaged areas. So you don't need to then go call in a fully licensed, certified contractor. They're all those things. It's the one-stop shopping that all of us busy homeowners and business owners require. You don't need to bring in any other contractors. They're going to handle the entire project from start to finish. They service the entire Tri-County area. Call or text 954-900-8635. Check out their more than 80 5-star reviews on Google. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida. We clean up your schmutz. I already told you guys, the way the show, and the show's growing. The numbers are growing. We're doing, it's great. It's really exciting. It's all thanks to you guys listening, of course. But it's also a huge thanks to our sponsors. And the way this show keeps going and the way that it's going, and of course the way that it's free, which it will always be, you will never have to pay for it. But the way that is, the sponsors support me because you support the sponsors. That's how, and we go round and round in a circle. That's how we get it done. That's how it stays free forever. So the more sponsors we get on the show, and it's so much less time. You know, when I used to do my show on the radio, in an hour, I did 4 hours, but in an hour, you'd get about 18 minutes worth of advertising. You guys know this show, it's around an hour, a little more than an hour. You're getting, I don't know, a third of that? So much less advertising on this show. It's rarely back-to-back spots, and we get to keep the whole thing moving. And the more spots that we get, the more advertising we get, that means the better the show is doing. So it's good for everybody. The sponsors support me because you support the sponsors. That's how we do it. All right. So what else do we have here? Because I want to get Geltzeiler on the show, and we're going to do a lot of NBA with him. So before we get to that, of course we got big deal, not a big deal. I'll hit up on a little bit of the hockey when we do big deal, not a big deal. But like I said, don't get all riled up over everyone picking the Celtics. Like, the Celtics are the number 2 seed, and they have home court advantage, but the Celtics are the number 2 seed. He's the number 8 seed. It's going to be played out in front of us. We all know it's going to be a dogfight. We all know it's going to be super hard. Don't get crazy about this, all right? Let people pick the Celtics. Who cares?